Hello, my name is Rachel and I'm here today to do my June reading wrap up. You may have noticed I am in a new place. I recently moved to Switzerland halfway through June, and that's why I haven't had any videos up for a while, and hence the new location. Unfortunately, all these books behind me, well, 90% of the books behind me are in German, so I need to learn German pretty fast because I can't read any of them, which is annoying. But yeah, so I'm going to do my June reading wrap up. I didn't read much in June, obviously, because I had so much going on. So the first book that I read in June, I gave 3 stars, and it was My Friend Dharma by Derf Backderf. So this is a graphic novel by a guy who went to school with Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer is a famous serial killer. He killed young men and also ate parts of them as well. And yeah, this is basically about nothing to do with like afterwards, really. This is about his time at high school and kind of the person of Jeffrey Dahmer at school. He was kind of a class clown, but kind of not at the same time, very lonely. And it was a really interesting graphic novel to try and like see kind of how someone becomes the way they do. It was quite interesting seeing some of the behaviours that he never got picked up for. So for instance, he drinks a lot and they are like 16, 17, and he's drinking not just like kids drinking, but like he's drinking in the morning, he stinks of alcohol all the time. So it was quite interesting. The artwork was quite cool, but I only gave it 3 stars because I didn't really feel like it added too much. It was interesting, but I wasn't like, oh my god, this is giving me so much information. It was just kind of, okay, that was interesting. So yeah, I gave that one 3 stars. On reflection, I don't know if it would actually have been 2.5 stars, thinking back to it now, but yeah, unsure. The next book I read was Yes Please by Amy Poehler. Now this is the first book I've ever read on a Kindle. I usually don't agree with Kindles because I like to have a physical copy of a book. But obviously, because I've moved to Switzerland and I couldn't bring all my books here, I just got a lot of them on my Kindle, which, yeah, had a bit of anxiety about. But it turns out I can read books a lot faster on the Kindle, which is weird. But yeah, so I read this one. So this is kind of a collection of autobiographical essays by Amy Poehler. If you don't know, Amy Poehler is an actress slash comedian, and she is the leading character in Parks and Rec. She plays Leslie Knope. She's in like Baby Mama. What's the Sisters with Tina Fey. She always does stuff with Tina Fey, SNL, stuff like that. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought some of the stuff was so funny and really insightful. There was quite a lot on like with being a woman and self-image and self-view and things like that, which I found really, 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 really interesting. And I just wanted to read a quote that I just found just phenomenal in it. So she said, you know those exercise pools where the water comes at you strong and you have to swim against it to build up your strength? That's what the social pressure of staying young feels like. You can either exhaust yourself thrashing against it or turn around and let the pressure of it massage out your kinks. Which I thought was quite good. I wasn't overly fond of the writing style. I wasn't completely sold on the way it was done in essays. The essay on Parks and Recreation and on the people in it made me cry because, like, it's one of my favourite shows. But yeah, so I gave that 3 stars, and I would keep it at 3 stars, I think. And then the next book I read, I got at the airport and read on the plane, and then read the first few days that I was here, and it is Into the Water by Paula Hawkins. This is by the author of The Girl on the Train, which was a very popular kind of book thriller type story a few years ago, and there was a very famous movie about it, and this is the first novel she's written since The Girl on the Train. So this book is about a little like villagey town, and basically there is this pool called the Drowning Pool, and centuries ago it's believed to have been used to drown witches in like olden times, and it's also a place that people will go to commit suicide. And basically this takes place where our main character, but there's a lot of point of view characters, so it makes it a bit difficult. But the main character, Jules, who comes back to this town after her sister dies, her sister is said to have jumped in and commit suicide, and it's basically she doesn't believe her sister would ever commit suicide, and it's about, well, what really happened. I gave this 3 stars. It's difficult because, like, I was furiously reading it. It's a real page turner, and the chapters are so short, and there's so many different point of view characters that you really fly through it. And I found it, like, I really enjoyed the stuff about the pool. I enjoyed whenever we went back in time, and like Jules' life and things like that. And there were a few things that surprised me, but I think overall the ending really let it down. I would say 80% of it, I was all in, really, really enjoying it, and the last 20%, I was like, I feel like you just needed to end it somewhere, and you grabbed whatever ending you could find. So yeah, it was good, but it wasn't fantastic. I haven't read The Girl on the Train. I put it on my Kindle and I've brought it with me. I do intend to read it because I think it will be a little better than this, just because I know there's only 3 point of view characters, and I just think part of the thing with this is there were so many characters, like so many, that it kind of started to lose the story a little bit sometimes, and sometimes it would take you out of the story because you'd start a chapter and you really had to like concentrate on the headings, because the headings of each chapter is like a character name. You had to kind of concentrate on what character it was instead of just keep reading, because I know with me I tend to not read the titles of chapters and just carry on reading because I want to read the book. So it kind of pulled me out of it a little bit. So yeah, that one was 3 out of 5 stars. And then the last book that I read in June, I gave 4 stars, and I finished that just before I came to Switzerland, and it was The Vegetarian by Han Kang. Me and my best friend read this together so that we could kind of talk about it, because that's going to be our way of staying in touch while I'm away. I'm going to do like a kind of book clubby thing. And yeah, so I read this. I really enjoyed it, but I found it so strange, like so strange. So it's basically about this woman from Korea, and South Korea, and she decides she is going to become a vegetarian. She starts having like nightmares about eating blood, and kind of, I think she like starts to feel guilty and is like, I can't eat meat, I just can't do it anymore. And you never actually hear from her perspective in the story, which I find really, really interesting. You hear from her husband, her brother-in-law, and her sister. So they're your 3 like point of view characters, and I just thought it was so interesting. The writing style was just perfect. At times it was like gratuitous, and then at other times it was lyrical, and there were just these fantastic descriptions that sort of felt kind of otherworldly, but then felt so real. Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I've never read a book that is like based on vegetarianism before, and as someone who's been a vegetarian for like 8 years, it kind of felt like, oh, I should be reading books about vegetarians. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the like feminist aspects of it in terms of a woman going against the norms of her culture, which in South Korea, like, it just isn't really a thing. Women are expected to behave in a certain way, and this woman goes completely against that. And I just found it so interesting, and sort of the politics of her family, like the patriarch, the matriarch, and how they interacted and how they reacted to her being a vegetarian. I just thought it was really, really good actually. I gave it 4 stars because I just felt like it wasn't 5. The ending for me I liked, but I felt like there could have been a bit more. Yeah, that was my June wrap up. Obviously I only read 4 books, which is a bit rubbish, but understandable I think. I don't know how I'm going to do the thumbnail, because I normally put all the books in the thumbnail, but I don't have them, so but yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!